And as I was saying, I thought we might get a bit of a viewing of Alvaro Morata to try and see if they can play with that centre forward. It looks like he's getting ready to come on the pitch for the Spanish. Rodri at the back with the ball at the moment. It's such a slow tempo to the game at times when Spain have it. They know that Costa Rica aren't going to push on to them as they just lose the ball in midfield, but supposedly illegally, as Celso Borges has just pulled back onto Busquets. And now on the left-hand side, Dani Olmo's going to start things for Spain. He's just going to run at Fuller. He does really well to beat him. Beats two, but can't beat the third as there's a cross comes in towards the box anyway as they won it back, and Ferran Torres was waiting at the back post, but so was Brian Oviedo. He heads it out. There's almost a chance for a World Cup hat-trick.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a way to mark the game, wouldn't it? To grab a third goal, but it's going to be at the end of the evening for Ferran Torres instead.
He will be wanting to come on.
Ferran Torres, he's the one that makes way for Alvaro Morata. You'd imagine then you'd probably see Marco Asensio pop out to one of the wings, maybe that right wing, and try and cut in on his left foot, and then
prevented from finding the target again by Brian Oviedo.
In front, but it looks like Pedri may be making way as well, and it's going to be Carlos Soler that comes on for Pedri. That one certainly feels like a decision by Enrique to look after a player that's going to be so vital to this Spain team. Make sure he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, definitely, and no surprises there. Solid changes.
Will enter the action.
He's got available to him. Luis Enrique's ball whipped in here. Now that's been put away. Fully dealt with as Spain will look to come again. And on the left-hand side, it goes across and it's put behind for the corner kick. But yeah, freshen things up. We expected it wouldn't take too long into the second half. The double switch
from Spain. Cleared header away in the end by Watson. He managed to just knock it out of play. They've got to be careful of these set pieces. They don't want to make this become, they don't want to make this become an embarrassment, Costa Rica, but it's moving in that direction already with the score at 4-0.
This is Rodri. Dani Olmo's hovering.
Right-hand side. Olmo's over it.
He's
got Soler next to him. In fact, there is Asensio next to him. Asensio then plays it back towards Soler. Now back into the feet again.
It's all about pride.
Now he's occupying that space on the right-hand side. Stood too close to the touchline, miscontrolled the pass into it, but it's gone out for a Costa Rica throw-in. Costa Rica throw-in on the left-hand side for them. Joel Campbell just knocks it off to Brian Oviedo, who couldn't quite keep it in play. He thinks he was fouled by Cesar Azpilicueta. Doesn't look like it's going to be given. It looks like there could be a change in the
over the corner
for Costa Rica as well. We'll let you know when that one is confirmed. It could be Zamora. Who's getting ready.
That wasn't part of the script.
Inside Costa Rica domestically.
A bad touch.
Just trying to
incredibly good touches.
See this game off comfortably now as we tick towards the hour mark. It's Spain 4, Costa Rica 0.
Down, but the decision
really
is
sit quite high on top of that
to Spain.
Table now. Spain, despite Japan managing to beat Germany.
Zamora will be introduced shortly.
The for Spain, and
20-year-olds
will be on the time when the Spanish take on the Germans. All cleared away now.
Dreamt of coming off the bench and making an impression on a famous night for Costa Rica. It's
rare piece of action.
Looking like that's going to be the way.
Headed away. It's out for a throw-in for Spain on the far side. It's going to be Jordi Alba to take it. Just going to comfortably see this game out now. I mean,
we haven't yet hit the hour mark.
But he's almost thrown that into the ground, Jordi Alba, at this point. Jordi Alba plays it across to Busquets. Yeah, they just look so comfortable, so confident. We spoke about it earlier, and I think it's worth trying to understand as I'll just break off because Alvaro Morata's managed to find his way in. The shouts that maybe the offside flag should have gone up, but it's not gone up yet. Morata just trying to get a shot off on his right foot. He's constantly trying, and then a back heel from Olmo across to try and find Soler in the middle. He couldn't manage to get on the end of it. He really did well to keep that alive, Olmo. I'm not quite sure what Morata was doing. He had so much time, and he just sort of waited and waited and waited, and then really didn't do much with it. But just one pass and straight through.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's part of the reason why Enrique at the moment isn't favouring Alvaro Morata.
Marco
he's a little
Asensio
bit
on the
slower
for Morata.
in terms of trying to develop
Costa
a move,
Rica
trying to keep things
calling
going.
for the flag.
The versatility
The game will go
of
for now.
Olmo and Torres, the trio that started.
It's beautifully
They've got the
rescued.
pace to beat a player, and then they'll look to whip it in. They'll look to find that next pass. Morata's very much that striker, that centre forward that will look to take it on himself, I think, rather than bring others into the play. There's the unselfishness of the trio that tend to play out wide and are always looking for that next pass, and that's in their mentality. So it's a different way to play, and there may be times in the tournament where they need a Morata, a bit more physicality, a bit more of a focal point, but I expect that he is going to be playing second fiddle as it goes on.
Well, it is going to be Alvaro Zamora coming on for Costa Rica, but not only that, we're going to see Brian Ruiz coming on. He's been an absolute cult hero for this Costa Rica side. He was so important in that side that did fantastically well during the 2014 World Cup. It's Jewison Burnett who makes way for Brian Ruiz. And he's an attacking outlet, isn't he, Ruiz? That's something he can offer to this side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the man with the most goals of any of the Costa Ricans in the side today. 29 already to his name, playing back in his homeland now. And yeah, he's at the latter stage of his career. It's definitely a swan song tournament for him at age 37 now. I think you made the point earlier on about how they'd done so well when they had that run to the quarterfinals. And you sort of pointed to the fact, I think it was 7 players in the squad that were involved in that tournament, and that's part of the problem. They're still clinging on to 1 or 2 of those due to the fact that obviously there's not enough talent coming through that can force a 37-year-old Brian Ruiz out of the side. Joel Campbell's still only 30 years of age, so he's got some good years ahead of him, but he's not the spring chicken he once was, and he was the bright youngster that had all this potential at Arsenal and never quite kind of came through. So I think you're looking at players like that now that yes, they've still got a bit of ability, but they're certainly not in their prime anymore.
Yeah, they're waiting for a fresh batch of talent, and maybe the man who's just gone off for Brian Ruiz can be it. On fire at Sunderland at the moment, Benete, but not doing the business in the World Cup. Looks like there could be another 2 changes for Spain in the offing as well. It looked like maybe Balde and Koke were going to be coming on, but we'll await to see if they do happen, and if so, who for. At the moment, it's Spain in possession. You often have to wait quite a while before a substitution's made when Spain are playing, because they keep it in play for so long, just holding on to the ball as they try and find Morata in behind. And this is an opportunity for him, and it's a poor effort. He shapes it onto his right foot. All he has to do is go across the face of goal to challenge Keylor Navas, and he's almost tried to bend it into the near corner, and it's wide by quite some way.
Yeah, it's a good run from Morata. Gets in behind, arcs it, times it well enough to stay on side. Maybe could have looked for the options. He did have the man on the inside channel there if he's looking for the pass, but decides against it.
Yeah, so it's going to be Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets that make way for Balde and Koke. So pretty much like for like in both situations there. Busquets and Jordi Alba, really experienced players. And he must feel his team is in as comfortable as a lead as possible, that he doesn't need to have that experience on the pitch to see it out.
Yeah, and I think that was to be expected. Mentioned just as we got going in the second half, you'd expect some of those more experienced players to be the ones to go. Busquets has done what he needed to in midfield. He's allowed Pedri and Gavi ahead of him for the most part to really control the game, but he's just that reliable figure that drops off. And the reason that Rodri plays as centre-back today, because they can't really both play there together unless you're going to have 2 holding midfielders. Luis Enrique knew that wasn't the case today, that he needed that double protection in midfield. Rodri drops deeper. Busquets is just the experienced head further ahead. And Alba did everything he needs to do from that left-back role. Got forward beyond the wide man, offered a channel, gets an assist as well, and played a key role.
Yeah, he certainly did do his job, as every player has done in this Spain side so far today. So they've only got 1 substitution left, Spain, and Costa Rica still with 2 to go. Whether they'll use them or not will be another question. I think you'd be surprised if Spain didn't use that final substitute, just in the way of trying to save players for the later rounds. In fact, now's probably the time that Spain can look ahead to those later rounds, think about what happens and who they've got in the future. I know they're only 1 game in, but they definitely expect to be able to go through in some fashion. I suppose maybe Japan might become the surprise outfit of the tournament and end up topping the group. You never know, but they certainly might feel that they've taken full advantage of that Germany loss as they come forward down the left-hand side with Balde now. He's got options to his left, and that option is Olmo. Manages to play it out to Olmo. Cross comes into the middle and it's searching for Asensio, but there's no one there. I think the ball may have gone out anyway. It was Balde who just couldn't quite keep it in on the byline, and he's just slightly outrun it. We get another replay of it. Yeah, it's just gone over the line and can't keep it in time, but it remains Spain 4, Costa Rica 0. 65 minutes have gone in this game, a game where Spain have shown utter dominance as the clearance is just blocked by Olmo, but straight into the hands of Keylor Navas to try and start something for Costa Rica. It's down on that left-hand side with Oviedo. He's just struggling to be able to shake off the pressure, and a lovely piece of skill from Gavi as he manages to flick the ball over his own head to win it back for Spain. Koke just flips it over to the left-hand side where Balde awaits. He's going to return the pass back now, Koke. Gavi drops in deep. Just trying to knit things together and just see this game out. I mean, both teams would be happy for the whistle to go now, I think. Costa Rica don't want to get any worse of a goal difference. I don't think they really see themselves being able to minimise this, bar keeping it at 4-0. And Spain, they'll just want to rest players now.
Yeah, they will. They're not going to overexert themselves and put themselves in a position where they're potentially going to pick up an injury, or they're going to run out of energy. I mean, they've coasted through this. I don't think they've even got out of first gear, to be honest. They let the ball do the work. That's what Spain are known for, and today's been the perfect opportunity to allow that to happen. Let Costa Rica do the running. Spain can just pass it around gently and settle themselves into the game. That match with Germany next time out is absolutely huge now, isn't it? A win for Spain pretty much secures them a place through to the last 16. They might still have work to do to guarantee top spot, but going through to the last 16 you'd expect with a win over the Germans. And then what could be a crunch game for top spot potentially against Japan to wrap things off.
Yeah, as Gavi just tries to fire his way into the box, but there's a wall of white shirts in his way. He can't get past them. Oh, and then there's a big tackle in the middle of the pitch, and that could be a card coming out. It is a yellow card to Francisco Calvo, the first card we've seen of the game. And I'd be intrigued to see a replay of that one because it looked, well, sensitively put, a strong tackle.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that from Costa Rica. Not necessarily that strength, but just getting stuck in at times. They kind of did it towards the end of the first half, but the underdogs in the game, and they've shown far too much respect to Spain today. I think it's an all-right challenge. Yeah, it's a foul and it's a yellow card. It's nothing more than that. There's a bit of the ball, there's a lot of the man. Maybe a bit of a sore one as the ankle was caught. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that Costa Rica haven't been more aggressive today. That's one of the ways that Saudi Arabia overcame Argentina, by showing more aggression in the second half, getting up in their faces and forcing them into mistakes, winning the ball and making them think twice when they turn on the ball. There's someone there coming to make a challenge. For Spain today, they've turned left, they've turned right, they've took 3 or 4 touches. No one's laid a glove on them until that moment that Calvo dived in there and got a yellow card.
Yeah, nobody has laid a glove on them. They've not been the physical outfit that you would normally expect Costa Rica to be, as Spain do make that final change, and it's Marco Asensio that's going to make way for them, and it looks like it's going to be Williams that comes on. So all 5 changes made for the Spanish side, and as they make a change, we'll make a change. And to take you through to full time, I'll pass you on to Bobby.
Thank you very much, Josh. So Spain cruising to victory then, 4-0 up against Costa Rica as Balde puts it back into Koke. The 2 substitutes getting a touch of the ball, and then it's whipped across to the right-hand side. Cesar Azpilicueta is going to get the full 90 minutes today. Olmo heading it across goal, no one in the middle able to challenge. Morata had lost his footing, and it's a comfortable collect for Keylor Navas. He gets rid quickly, lovely ball forward to Joel Campbell. He's nudged off the field, and it's good defensive work from Spain to not just dispossess him, but emerge with the ball, keeping it in play and keeping the flow of the game going. That's something that has been remarkable in this one, the fact that it has just been flowing throughout, no major stoppages, but again, no doubt we'll get 5-10 minutes of additional time at the end of this second half. We have had 5 substitutions for Spain, of course, although only in 3 intervals, and I think we'll probably get a few more still to come from Costa Rica as they work it forward into substitute Alvaro Zamora. Just can't retain possession with his back to goal, and Costa Rica will reclaim it. With the changes Spain have made, it may well give Costa Rica the chance to try and get a bit of the ball and get more of a foothold in the match. Can become a bit more disjointed.
Yeah, certainly, and they've brought on players that have really changed the system as well, because they're now really playing with a central man in Morata. I think Inaki Williams is probably a bit more like Dani Olmo rather than the likes of Asensio, so you're going to see a different form of attack there. Koke's not quite got the ball control that Busquets has, or the defensive abilities as Busquets. Soler, you know, I'd probably say Balde is very similar to Jordi Alba in the way that he's going to want to get forward, but yeah, they've changed the system. They've got sort of issues whenever you make a substitute of trying to get them sort of tied into the way a team's played, but what you would say in Spain's favour for that is that it's a full squad of players that know how to play that Spanish brand of football, that quick passing, the movement off the ball, and just always making yourself an option for a pass. So they should fit in seamlessly, but Costa Rica will be hoping that maybe they'll be able to soften the blow and get a goal or maybe two back to improve their goal difference.
For a Spain throw here in their own half, we're going to get another change. It's going to be made by Costa Rica. Going off is the number 5 veteran Celso Borges, who has worked himself through midfield today. Another cap on the tally for him, the most capped player in this Costa Rica side. And coming on in his place is the number 20 Brandon Aguilera, another that is of the newer generation, 19-year-old replacing a 34-year-old. Another that plays his domestic football in his homeland, as Spain work it back through Azpilicueta here into their defensive area with Rodri. Turns it back to the Chelsea man and moves into midfield where Gavi can turn on it. He's going to get the full 90 minutes tonight. And, great experience for him. Very much a youngster in this Spain squad, but he's proven himself at Barcelona and he's a key figure, you imagine, for Spain as they go on. He's found a bit of space now and drives into opposition territory. Runners up ahead, his pass is misplaced. He fails to pick out either Soler or Morata, and it's run out now by Fuller. Puts it onto the right-hand side with Zamora. Back to Fuller. He's got two for company, Soler and Laporte. Can't get away from either of them, and Spain will come themselves again. Morata to the left-hand side looking for Olmo, who just about keeps it in play. He's got Nico Williams making the run into the box, and that's where the ball goes eventually. Williams had gone offside, and I think it was intended for Morata, but pass was overhit. Navas can come and claim it. Costa Rica play themselves up towards the halfway line now, and carried on by Brian Ruiz. Right, one challenge, flicks it over the top looking for Campbell. Is he beating the offside trap? Well, the flag is down for now. It's not. It's been raised eventually, and the move will be halted. But good work from Ruiz, and just a bit of that creativity they've been missing.
Yeah, really good. In true Spanish fashion, even though Costa Rica got their shot off after the whistle, Unai Simon saved it with the outside of his right boot. So they're showing the level of dominance even when they've not been, the ball's not even properly been in play. They've just been so in control of this game. But yeah, they've done well there. They play the ball over the top. Ruiz's ball is really nice to just find Campbell. Campbell's made the right sort of run. He's just a matter of inches offside, and I think he probably would have gone for goal if the flag hadn't gone up.
What a run this is from Balde. He's played it through for Morata. Out comes Navas and palms it away at the feet of the Spain striker. Now looking for Gavi with a shot off the post. A wonderful finish from Gavi. The Barcelona youngster marks his World Cup debut with a fine finish. Spain 5, Costa Rica 0.
Oh, what a finish that is from Gavi. There's so many players that would have just lashed at that ball as it drops out of the air. It's almost in perfect position to just let fly at it, but he just opens up his boot and uses the outside of his foot to just almost poke it into the bottom corner, and it's just inch perfect. It slaps off the post and goes into the back of the net. There's maybe a small question as offside, but he looks pretty level to me, Alvaro Morata. He does really well to then dink the ball in, and I just can't believe quite how well he's controlled that into the bottom corner. Gavi, both him and Pedri at such a young age have been so impressive for the Spanish outfit today, and goodness me, that is a wonderful goal.
It is a fine finish. Yeah, just watches it right out the sky onto his right boot and guides it into that far corner. He had 3 defenders in front of him and somehow managed to squeeze it through a gap beyond them. Keylor Navas rooted to the spot. Kickoff has been taken. The goal does stand like you. I thought Alvaro Morata just about looked onside. Just about is, of course, enough to allow the goal to stand as we see Costa Rica send it forward. Brian Ruiz, percentage ball in field. Simon comes out to get a rare touch of the ball, and he'll get another now as it's returned back to him from Rodri. Spain 5-0 up. It's the second time that Costa Rica have conceded 5 goals in a World Cup game. 4 times that they've conceded 4 goals or more. They did lose 5-2 to Brazil back at the 2002 World Cup, but it is going to be the heaviest defeat in a World Cup, there's no doubt about that. 5 goals down as it stands, and Spain maybe have even got a few more in the tank as substitutes will no doubt want to get their names on the score sheet as well. Of course, England scoring 6 against Iran, but conceded 2 in the other direction. That's the most scored by a single side so far at this World Cup competition. The event in Qatar. And we've still got just under 15 minutes to go as the Mexican wave starts to go around the stadium, and Spain are enjoying their football and putting on a real show in front of us. It's one of those that you would call a statement win, I suppose, but there'll be questions as to the opposition that they've come up against, but you can only beat the sides that are placed in front of you, and Spain, I suppose, are doing it in style.
Yeah, absolutely. You can only beat the sides that you put in front of you, and I don't know how many times I need to hark back to the surprises we've seen. I think Germany would have expected to breeze through Japan, and Argentina would have expected the same with Saudi Arabia. So you can never take the opponent in front of you for granted, and they'll have looked at Costa Rica and thought, yes, this is a game we can win and we should win, but you've got to go out there and you've got to do it. And there's not really been many teams that have done that so far, that have come up against a side that you'd expect them to beat and thoroughly deserved to do so. So it's been a really impressive performance. I mean, maybe France versus Australia is one that's happened as well, but other than that, I suppose England versus Iran, and then everyone else has either had a trip up or it's been a closer affair than people expected it to. So yeah, Spain have come out and they've been really impressive, and it's a statement, but not quite the statement of be scared of us, but rather we're here, we're serious, take us seriously, I think.
Yeah, I think the difference maybe between sort of England's performance against Iran, 6-2 victors, and looking classy, and this one, Spain 5-0 up, it's just the pure dominance, isn't it? As well as scoring 5, they've not conceded a shot on target. They've only gifted away 17% of the possession in the game. It has been from the first whistle right to this very moment, with 78 minutes gone. Spain controlling every inch of the game as free kick goes into the box here. There's a bit of a coming together. Gavi and substitute Watson square up to each other after Laporte had initially seemingly been fouled there. Gavi arguably the smallest man on the pitch, and Watson arguably the biggest, the two that went face to face, or chest to face, I think is probably the fairer way to put it. Watson is being called back to the referee here and might well find himself getting a booking. I don't think Gavi's going to get any retribution, but the referee just trying to calm it down a little bit. You can understand, I think Costa Rica will be frustrated the way this game has gone. Just gone through the stats there. They barely had any of the ball. It's not been their day. And players are going to get frustrated with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You will get frustrated. I think sometimes if the manager's told you to play a certain way and you can see out on the pitch that it's not working, but he's continuing to tell you to play that way, and seemingly that's what they have done, I can understand why you'd begin to get frustrated. And also, we spoke about it earlier, you're playing at a World Cup, you get yourself psyched up for your first game in a World Cup, and then you go out and you hardly get a kick of the ball. You can understand the frustration. I think from a Luis Enrique point of view, he's got to make sure his players, such as Gavi, who's been so impressive today, don't go and do stupid things, square up to people, get themselves sent off, and then not have themselves available. Because I mean, a yellow card is such a dangerous card to pick up as well in the World Cup. Just 2 of them and you're out of your next game. So you have to be careful, and I'm sure he'll be echoing that message onto his players.
As we stressed before, the last game for Spain could be a big one. Even if they do win their first 2, as a low ball goes in here, and Morata can't get their far post. It's cleared away. I say it could be a big game. It potentially is a battle for top spot. If Spain beat Germany and Japan, as you'd expect, having already beaten Germany, go on and beat Costa Rica, then two sides on 6 points. It may well be a shootout for top spot, although Spain's goal difference might well be already enough to see them through, of course, in that top spot, even with a draw in that last game. As Azpilicueta works it into Koke, maybe getting too far ahead of ourselves, not even finished with the first group game in this section, and already thinking ahead to how it could pan out after the third, as Spain work it to the left-hand side with Balde. 10 minutes left to go, and it's back into the defensive line for Spain, and rather Gavi has dropped himself off there to show for the ball, works it out to the left with Olmo. Balde will go on the overlap, a couple of Costa Rica players out there for company, so they come back through towards the middle with Gavi, opens it up and will turn back to his left, and Spain just keeping it ticking over. They're always looking to move that ball on, even at this stage as Morata's through. He's created himself an angle there, and it's saved by the legs of Navas. I think he just forced himself too wide.
Yeah, it was really poor actually in the end from Morata. I think he may have been offside anyway in the build-up of the linesman's flags gone up. Yeah, he certainly was offside. He was just leaning his shoulder offside a bit too much. But yeah, if he'd have just not used the outside of his foot to control it and just let it run past him, he'd have had a central position to get his shot away off. But he didn't. He uses the outside of his boot. He drags himself wide, and he makes it harder for it to score, and he makes it easier for the goalkeeper to get across and save it. And that's not the first time we've seen him do that. I think I've seen him on 3 opportunities in this game get the ball in that position and take it too far wide, and you wonder why they don't start with a centre forward.
We've just seen a change, by the way, in that break in play for the offside. It's Ronald Matarrita who's come on. He's replaced Brian Oviedo, one of the few players in this Costa Rica squad that plays his football outside of his homeland. He's in the MLS with FC Cincinnati, making his 53rd appearance for his country this evening. Getting a few minutes of a run out right at the closing stages. Spain fans looking somewhat subdued. I suppose it's been a comfortable evening for them. They probably came into it, despite some of the upsets we've seen, expecting a win. Not been dazzled by the performance. It's been professional throughout. Glimpses of just how dangerous and threatening they can be, but at times it has been, as Spain games can be, a little bit dull, a little bit predictable, but that's how they won the World Cup back in 2010. Almost death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it, really? They work through you, grind to the final third, and then you do see those flashes of brilliance that leads to the goal, but between that you get 15 minutes of passing side to side.
Yeah, it's certainly felt that way. It's almost felt to an extent like a pre-season game. Quite often when you watch a pre-season friendly between two sides, it'll have a really slow pace to it, but then 3 or 4 of the goals will be absolute worldies because the players are trying something, there's no pressure on them, and it's felt like that from Spain from the moment they went 1-up. It felt like the pressure was off their shoulders. They were going to win this game, use it as a warm-up for your next ones, and just control the ball and control the game. And I don't think I've seen such a dominant performance in a World Cup for a long time, really, in this stage of it. It's just been so easy for Spain. You know, you can hark back to maybe that Germany versus Brazil game in the dominance there, but it wasn't dominance of the same level. There's just not been an opportunity for Costa Rica to even get into this game in any stretch. We likened it to the England versus Iran game. Iran got 2 goals from that. They were breaking away, they were causing problems, but England managed to score goals. In this game, Spain have just completely dominated the game.
Looking back at Gavi's goal again, he's the youngest ever scorer of a World Cup goal for Spain. Way to do it as well. The reaction of his boss, Luis Enrique, tells you all you need to know. It's a special player, Gavi, one that we're going to be seeing for years and years to come. And of course, it was vastly down to the midfield of Spain, the trio of Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets, that they went on to win that 2010 World Cup. The goal in the final scored by Iniesta, roughly drilled effort against Netherlands in extra time. Is it going to be the midfield again that really does the business for them at this World Cup, with Busquets still in there, and now a couple of other Barcelona youngsters alongside him in Pedri and Gavi. Still years for them to develop into the players that I think they will eventually become, but the type of goal he scored there just shows the confidence that they play with, as Campbell works at infield now for Costa Rica, back through to Matarrita and off to Calvo, who turns it to his goalkeeper Navas, and guided out to the right-hand side. A little bit too big for Keisha Fuller. He's playing on that right-hand side of defence now for Costa Rica. It's out for a Spain throw taken pretty quickly. Lots of empty seats around the stadium now. Fans clearly had their fill of what they wanted to see tonight. Heading for the exits and heading home, maybe get a seat ready for the match still to come this evening. Belgium against Canada, the fourth and final game today. Your full fill of football at the moment, with games coming thick and fast in this World Cup, a more condensed World Cup than we're used to, due to the fact that it has been sandwiched in between domestic football seasons. Certainly no complaints from my side as we see Spain working into Morata now. Comes away from goal and flicks it off to the right with Azpilicueta. Time on the ball for the Chelsea man. Goes back infield to Koke. Guide it. Lovely clip ball onto Balde on the left, and now Olmo. Balde goes up ahead of him. Come infield to Soler. Down the line where the space is now for Balde. It's Olmo drifted into the middle. Looks to clip a ball in. It's blocked at source. Costa Rica will head away. Azpilicueta competing, doesn't get there. It's a bit of a coming together there off the ball, and free kick's been given against Laporte. John Campbell going down. We have just under 4 minutes left of the 90. Costa Rica a chance to maybe try and launch the ball forward.
Yeah, just try and get the ball down there and maybe have a chance of nicking something at the death, making the goal difference only 4, or just giving yourself a bit of confidence to go into that next round, because it's obviously Spain-Germany next, and then that Japan-Costa Rica game. I'm sure they were probably looking at that game going into it thinking that's our opportunity to get some points in this tournament, and now they're going to be stripped of all confidence, and it's about sort of resetting, and the manager Luis Fernando Suarez is going to have to pull them aside and get them in their camp and explain that it doesn't mean that their World Cup's over, it doesn't mean that their chances are over, but it'd be so hard as a player to take that sort of opinion out of your head about the way that this game's gone. But it's going to be really intriguing to see if Costa Rica have got any fight in them against that Japan side, because they've just not looked at the races at all today.
Reiterating what we said earlier as well, that Spain have got the third youngest squad at the World Cup. It's not a reason to count them out, but will bring about bigger questions when they come up against more experienced sides later on. Well and good doing it against Costa Rica, 5-0 to settle themselves in and just grow that confidence, but we'll see how they get on against Germany, who will be desperate to respond to a loss against Japan. Here is one of those youngsters, Gavi, finding Olmo, looking to thread it through for Morata, who just can't get to this one and sees it go beyond him into Keylor Navas. I don't think he's done enough, Morata, for me to suggest that he'll force his way in against Germany.
No, certainly not. He's not been able to put the ball in the back of the net, and he's had multiple opportunities to do it. It showed in that first half when they played without a central striker that this Spain team doesn't really need that. They can pass the ball around you, they can create pockets of space where other players are going to run into. I think there's a level of unpredictability about not playing with a striker as well that Germany may struggle to deal with too. And I think if you look at the way that German side played today against Japan, the Spain side will fancy their chances, and Luis Enrique will probably think, why break the stream and the confidence of the squad that started today's game, because they've been brilliant.
Nico Williams now flicks it through, can't find Morata. Ruiz, but just there with the head. It's Aymeric Laporte, but when they have had times, they've just offered themselves as an option for the midfielders to get the rhythm going from those moves deep. And it's Carlos Soler who applies the 6th goal for Spain. Good.
And the initial cross comes in, and then it's parried away by Keylor Navas, and then the first man to it is just been thoroughly convincing, this Spanish side. They just will have such a confidence. He just tucks it in the back out, but he can only parry it out as far as Soler's the first 6-0.
One PSG man scoring past another. Lead by 6. We'll grab a 7th, possibly an 8th in those 8 for Ferran Torres, but they've had 4 other goal scorers as well on the sheet, so shows that there's options around. Some will question that they haven't got a out-and-out striker in the starting 11. Where are your goals going to come from? Well, Spain have silenced some of those critics by plenty chipping in today.
Yeah, I think world football in itself is moving that way. There's some, if you have a top quality striker like an Erling Haaland, then maybe you have that sort of person. But you look at other international deuces. They played, didn't they, on Monday? They those people who scored, was he? So no goals from, and Spain will be looking at that. They got the likes of Asensio, who can sit in that pocket, play the balls off, and allow other players to score goals.
To the box, Morata working a 1-2, shot away, and there it's goal number 7. It is one for Alvaro Morata. Finally, he takes his chance. Spain 7, Costa Rica 0.
It's too easy. It's just too easy. It's become an absolute mauling. The whistle should have gone. There shouldn't be 8 minutes of added time, but it doesn't really matter now. It's 7-0. Costa Rica will be absolutely heartbroken. They've just not been able to put up a fight in this game. It's a really nice finish in the end from Alvaro Morata for this one. It's just tucked in behind the line, and he hit it on his weaker left foot. It all starts from Williams just knocking it in to him. He then lays it off to Almo Morata, and he just lays it straight back to Morata. He just sweeps at it with his left boot and manages to tuck it into the bottom corner of Keylor Navas. I mean, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, Navas. He's spent a career where he's played for Real Madrid, he's played for Paris Saint-Germain, he's the captain of Costa Rica when Ruiz doesn't play, and he's been such an important person for them over their times over the World Cups. But it just goes to show how poor this side has been, that he, as their best player, has conceded 7 goals today.
With Costa Rica in midfield, terrible day for Los Ticos as they to bend one in behind, and Simon will come and catch that one just on the edge of his penalty area. Pulls it out into midfield. We've had 3 of the 8 additional minutes. We suggested that might well have been enough. A minute would have been enough, 0 would have been enough in truth, but we'd still have 5 to go. Spain have scored once in additional time, and might even still have more to offer potentially. We'll see, but Spain 0, Costa Rica 7. Out to the right-hand side it goes now for Azpilicueta. And to Gavi, who's brought down there. Referee will give the free kick. Card for Brandon Aguilera, the substitute. Spain take the free kick quick and short. Gavi has it back at his feet. Switches the play to the left-hand side while Laporte is stepping out of defence out onto Balde. Everyone wants in, it seems, at the moment. Just lose possession there in the final third. Costa Rica attempt to play it out and mess it up in the process. Back towards Rodri. Finding Koke. First time ball through to Soler, and now Balde looks to cut the ball back into the box. It's cleared by Costa Rica. Koke with captain's armband laid off to Azpilicueta. 15 attempts they've had today, Spain. 7 on target, 7 goals. Costa Rica, no shots, none on target. Of course, no goals, and barely even a kick of the ball. 18% of the possession they've had has been sheer dominance from Spain. Balde on the left-hand side, back into defensive area. Come across now to Rodri. Oh, just 3 minutes away from the end of this one, the end of the 8 minutes of additional time. Running out of superlatives for Spain and how well they have performed this evening. And we have to stress that Costa Rica just have not really competed, but you cannot take away how well Spain have performed on the flip side. And here they go for an eighth, but it's wide. Finally, they failed to convert from the edge of the box.
Yeah, it was Gavi that just managed to wriggle his way into a tight space and then lays it off to Carlos Soler, but he opens his boot up a bit too much and slices it wide right. Like you say, running out of superlatives. I can't really talk about how well Spain have played, how dominant they've been. It's been men versus boys, really, but the boys are the ones that have won 7-0 because this is an aging Costa Rica side versus a very young Spanish side, and yet they've managed to look like the men on the pitch, just dominating the game, keeping their calm, keeping their cool, playing it around, creating opportunities, creating space, sharing the goals around. It's just been superb to watch, and I'm intrigued to see how they play against Germany, against a nation that should be able to go toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, it will be the bigger test for them, and when we get a better indication of what Spain are really about. I mean, they are ranked 31st in the world, Costa Rica. It's not as though they're way down the rankings. They're nowhere near the lowest ranked side in the competition. Ghana and Saudi Arabia ranked outside the top 50, managed to beat one of the pre-tournament favourites, Argentina. Joel Campbell has picked up a yellow card here for Costa Rica. Some act to follow as well for Belgium and Canada, who play later this evening. Again, you'd be expecting Belgium to coast to victory in that. See which way it goes, but marker laid down by Spain here. 7 goals scored in their game with no reply. We are heading in towards the final minute of the 8 additional. This free kick for Spain is within shooting range, wide left on the box, and a chance to either whip it into the area or go for goal for Carlos Soler. He's got 4 or 5 red shirts to aim for in the penalty area. Rodri and Laporte have come forward, looking to get their names on the score sheet. Referee is having to deal with a bit of pushing and shoving here. Might well add on to the 8 minutes that were scheduled at the end. We're supposed to be in the final minute of those now, as Soler is over the top of it. He's got options short as well, should he choose to use them. A 2-man Costa Rica wall to try and get it around or over, and it's cleared by the first man behind that wall, out for a throw-in. And we actually have a closer towards full time as Soler goes to take the resulting throw, goes back to the halfway line with Balde. He's pressed a little bit by Aguilera, drops it off in towards Rodri. He's now got time to assess the picture further up ahead, can take 3 or 4 touches and sends it back to the left-hand side with Balde. Gavi has been instrumental in that midfield this evening. Gets it across to Asper. Goes a convincing win for Spain as they see off Costa Rica by 7 goals to 0.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy opportunity of having a bet on the match. Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity? Sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun.